and welcome to episode 38 of Book Writing Tips, quick tips for new and seasoned authors, and I am your host, Alba Arango. In today's episode, we are going to talk about using your character's physical appearance for character development. And this is one of the things that I think is often underutilized by authors to help develop their characters in the minds of their readers. So with no further ado, let's get to it. Let's talk about your character's physical appearance. Alrighty then, today's episode will be in two parts, as always. In the first part, I want to talk about your character's physical traits, like their God-given traits. Like, what about their physical traits can you use to help you with character development? And in part two, I want to talk about what they wear and how you as an author can use what a character wears to kind of give the reader more insight into your character. All right, let's get to it. Part one, physical traits. Now, there are tons of physical traits you can talk about. I mean, think about a person's physical traits, everything from their nails, their hands, their hair, their eyes, their ears. I mean, everything about them, their height. I could go on and on and on and talk about everything about it. So what I will do instead is I will focus on just a couple traits, and then you can go through like your character sheet or like think about your character's physical traits and kind of get a sense of how you can use their physical traits to help you explore character development to make it a more vivid image for your reader. So here we go. Let's talk first about hair. Yes, hair. Now, if your character is older, like me, right? I'm 56. There's a difference between older people, men and women, and younger people and men and women in regards to hair. Let me explain. So for older women, oftentimes you will see not many older women with dark hair. Like, I have dark brown hair. And a struggle for me with my dark brown hair is that gray hair shows very well when you have dark hair, when your gray hair is growing out. You can really see the contrast of the dark brown hair with the gray hair. Which is why, if you haven't noticed, and now that you know this, maybe start taking a look around, many older women have lighter hair colors. Even women with dark brown hair color their hair maybe a little bit lighter, like a lighter brown, or they start using different colors, because gray is much less noticeable when it is growing out on blonde hair. So that's something interesting that a lot of younger authors don't really think about when they're writing older characters. But trust me, older women, that is on their mind all the time. You're taking selfies? Okay, well, are you showing their gray hair? I mean, is their gray hair noticeable? Is it growing out to where you can see it? I mean, many women spend tons of money to cover their roots every 6 weeks because they do not want that problem. So that is something that maybe older women experience that younger women don't even think about. And that's something, if you're writing older characters, you should keep that in mind, that older women are sensitive about their gray hair and are going to do what they can to kind of prevent people from seeing it. And on that same vein of, that same vein of sensitivity, older men are very sensitive if their hair is thinning. So if they have like a bald spot on the back of their hair, or if their hair is starting to go thin, it is a very sensitive topic. And men do a lot to try to cover their hair, much more, I think, than even older women know goes on. I will tell you, my grandfather, when he was in his 80s, and he had very little hair. I mean, very little hair on the top of his head. He had, a few strands of hair, but he was meticulous about spreading those few strands of hair out, greasing them down with oil so they would stay there so that it covered as much of his head as possible. And nowadays, of course, you know that older men, a lot of them are shaving their heads because it makes them look younger because you can't tell that their hairline is thinning. And these are things, again, as a young author, meaning you're in your teens or 20s or even in your 30s, that you don't think about with older characters. But trust me, older characters, this is on their mind a lot. a lot. So just keep that in mind. And that is a great way to show character development where your younger characters don't pay attention to this, but your older you see your older characters looking in the mirror, you see them like putting a hat on, and you can use this in your character development. Now, along the lines of hair as well, you also want to think about things like corporate America, which sounds like a strange topic right now, but it is true. I'm going to give you an example what I mean by corporate America and hair. The other day I'm driving down Vegas, and I don't know, those of you who are not from Vegas, maybe you don't have this situation, but in Vegas there are billboards everywhere. And chances are 1 out of 2 billboards are about a lawyer. I'm serious. I think we have more lawyers in Las Vegas than we do lamp posts or something. But anyways, I saw this billboard for a lawyer, and he had his picture, and his picture had longer hair. Like his hair was probably maybe, shoulder length or a little longer than shoulder length. And I can tell you without even flinching, without a shadow of a doubt, most of the men, especially men that I know that are over the age of 65 or 70, would absolutely never call him to be their lawyer because of his hair. And I am, in a way, condemning this because I don't agree you should judge someone by their hair. That doesn't mean anything about his effectiveness as a lawyer. But I am telling you that, especially older generations, but that kind of transcends throughout all of corporate America, there is this, and I'm air quoting here, look that you are expected to have if you are going to be in a position of any kind of power, whether it's corporate America, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's city council. There is and I quote again, look that you are expected to have. Now, if your character is going to interview for a position as a lawyer or in a county office or in any place where there is any kind of a position of power, they are either going to conform their look to match that what is expected, or they are not, because they are not going to allow this stigma to change who they are. And that either one of those is very powerful character development as to who your character is or who your characters are. Because you might have one character who does conform and one who doesn't. And that really says a lot about your character. Now, are they doing this until they get to where they are in a position, then they're going to change? Well, that means they're changing now in order to be. So is that the kind of character you want to have? And so that's a lot of stuff to think about when you're talking about hair. I know. And that's just the one trait of hair. Now, let's talk more about, there's another one. Let's talk height. All right. If you're writing, say, YA, tall girls, whether they're 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet tall, in high school, that is almost a stigma. And it's great if they're, on the basketball team, but if they're just a tall, awkward girl, they're just self-conscious all the time that people are looking at them like they're a freak because they're so tall. So a lot of times they will slouch. And I saw it in my high school. I taught high school for 25 years, and I saw it with taller girls. They want to be more of what they call the average height because they don't want to stick out because they're so tall. And that is, when you're writing your characters, something to think about. That's probably your tall characters are like. Or if your character is friends with a tall person, you want them to kind of empower them. Like, no, stand up straight. Be proud of who you are. You kind of want that for your characters. Now, before we get into what characters wear, it's time for the crazy law / writing prompt. And if you're new to the show, every week I give you a crazy law. And this is a law that once upon a time in history was a real law. And the challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to write a short story based on that law. And this is just a good way to flex those writing muscles and maybe give you a distraction from your work in progress. So here we go, this week's crazy law. In Elko, Nevada, it is against the law for anyone to walk on the streets wearing a mask. Now that is an interesting law. I'm sure that law was maybe not in effect during COVID, but I'm sure it was in effect during Halloween at some point in time. So anyways, there you go. Your turn to write the story about the law. All right, so now let's get to part 2, which is what your characters wear. Now, there is an expression and it's something like, well, clothes make the man. And I think that really that is absolutely true, not just for men, but for women too. I think clothes is a great way to express one's personality. And you, as the author, have an opportunity to utilize your character's clothes to give your readers some insight into your character without, telling them about it. Literally, what kind of clothes your characters wear says a lot about who they are. Let's talk about accessories first, right? So I will tell you the story. The last, book signing I did last year was in, November, because I was too sick to do my December one. So the last one was in November, and it was in a coffee shop. And everyone who came to the coffee shop, I started to notice that nobody wore a watch. No one. Unless it was an Apple Watch or a fitness tracker. And I thought, how very interesting. Because I myself am wearing a fitness tracker and I wear my fitness tracker all the time, but I didn't used to do that. I used to have a collection of watches that was insane. I had every superhero watch and a Scooby-Doo watch, and I had Pac-Man watch, and I had all different kinds of character watches aside from, of course, Disney. And I had just, cool fancy watches, and I used to wear watches all the time. And then I got a fitness tracker, and now that's all I wear. And I changed the bands on the fitness tracker to match my outfit or whatever, but I'm always wearing my fitness tracker. Unless I'm going someplace really fancy, then I do wear a fancy watch. I don't wear my fitness tracker when I'm dressed all nice to a really nice restaurant. But other than that, I'm always wearing my fitness tracker. And I thought, how interesting, because I never used to do that. So I started looking at all these people coming into the coffee shop, and it was interesting that nobody wore a watch. They either wore an Apple Watch or a fitness tracker or nothing. Nothing. Their wrists were bare. And I thought, wow, what a just different world this is than it was, say, 20 years ago. So anyways, that's interesting. Does your character wear a fitness tracker or not? Do they wear an Apple Watch because they need to always be, checking their emails? Do they not wear anything on their wrist at all? That says a lot about them. It really does. And does their, fitness tracker, is it just plain black band, or is the band match their outfit? All of this is kind of just little ways to kind of give your character a little bit of fun, character development. Now, what about jewelry? Does your character wear jewelry? I wear earrings every single day. Even if I'm just at home and not going anywhere, I wear earrings, which is weird. Maybe I don't sleep with them because they bother my ears when I sleep, but I love wearing earrings. I'm always wearing earrings. I used to always wear rings too, but now that I have a dog and we go for walks all the time, they get caught on my leash, so I don't wear rings that much anymore. But does your character, or do the characters that you're writing about, wear their wedding rings? And that's an interesting idea. Many people I have noticed don't wear wedding rings, not because, they want to be flirtatious or whatever, just because oftentimes if you gain weight, you were a lot thinner probably when you got married. And if you gain weight, now your wedding ring's too tight, so you don't wear your wedding ring. A lot of men just never wear wedding rings anymore. Not because they want to be flirtatious or whatever, just because, it doesn't fit, so they don't wear it and they don't think anything of it. And a lot of women, they, feel bad having to enlarge their wedding band, so they buy another band to wear. So they have a wedding ring on, so it looks like they're married, but it's not their original wedding ring because that one doesn't fit anymore. It's just an interesting thing to say, but yet some women will change their wedding ring, enlarge it, shrink it as they gain in weight because they always want to have that ring on their finger. So that's just another way of just adding a little bit of character development to that. And on the lines of women, what about makeup? From my observation, there's 3 different kinds of women. There's the women who always wear makeup, always, literally will not leave the house without makeup. Some women wear makeup around the house, literally, they will not get they're not complete. They don't feel like they're dressed unless they have makeup on, even if they're not going anywhere. Then there's women who mostly wear makeup. But if it's, they don't feel like wearing it, they don't wear it. And then if they end up having to go to the grocery store, maybe they'll throw on mascara or something. There's that kind of woman. Or there's women like me who very rarely wear makeup. And it's funny because I always used to wear makeup. I used to wear makeup every single day to school. Always. I always wore makeup to school. And then when I was in my 30s, I think I figured out that I could sleep in 20 minutes longer if I didn't wear makeup. So I stopped wearing makeup to school, but I'd still wear it, on the weekends and stuff like that. And then I realized, if I don't put makeup on, I don't have to take it off, because that is actually the main reason why I don't like to wear makeup, because I actually like wearing makeup. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting it on. I like the different looks. I love the different eyeshadows and eyeliner. I love all of that, different lipsticks. But gosh, I hate taking it off. I really hate taking it off. I hate taking it off so much that I don't wear it. I'll wear it if I go meet someone, someplace nice, or if I'm going somewhere, or every once in a while I just feel like putting makeup on, so I put it on for absolutely no reason. Even if I don't go somewhere, I just put it on. but I hate taking it off, which is the main reason why I don't wear it. What does that say about me? I don't know, that I'm lazy, that I just, it isn't that important of a thing to me personally. And yet it is to some women. And that says a lot about, who they are. It's a big part of their life, and it could lead to anxiety. So these are things to think about when you're writing your characters. Now, I will end very quickly because this has gone on very long, about clothes. And it really is true that clothes are an extension of your personality. And so that is a great opportunity for you as a writer to write a little bit about your character's personality by what clothes they put on that day. And it doesn't have to be anything, elaborate, just a quick mention of what they put on or what they see others wear, just a quick mention, and that gives the character more personality. So there you go. These are just a few ways you can use a character's physical appearance to enhance the way the readers view them, to enhance their character development and give a little bit more insight to what your character is like. All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. I drop a new episode every Wednesday. And if you have an idea for something you'd like to hear, please, you can email me. Go to my website, albarango.com, and click on contact me. And you can contact me and let me know what you'd like me to talk about. Until next week, stay safe. And I love you all. Have a beautiful week full of many, many magical moments.